aren't there? Oh, one last thing. I'll be honest. This wasn't I solicited. I didn't say, "Hey, anyone have any questions on this one?" And then they send it back. This is something I snapshotted from another group that I was in. So, aren't there some substances that some people should stay away from more than others? Like, I get some people do coke or whatever, and that they don't make it a lifestyle. But for some people, they've left everything in their life behind for it, and it ruined their lives over it. In my case, it was alcohol, though.
Well, there's two different questions there. One question is, are there some substances that you personally have trouble with? And are there some substances whoever human being has trouble with that nobody should use? And our answer to the second one, going back to Carl Hart, is no. The answer to the first question, I'll tell another story out of my memoir. Nobody will be able to have to buy my memoir. Have I ever told this story? I had baby teeth. I had 3 baby teeth that progressed into my adulthood. They didn't develop. And so I had to go to a very expensive oral surgeon to get, a tooth implant done well in New York City. It cost a few bucks. And when I went into the guy, he was extremely smart. He seemed to be interested in engaging me in conversation. And this was the conversation we had. His son had been involved with heroin. He sent him to Florida to Rehab Alley. He got out of rehab and he was living in a halfway house, and he smoked marijuana now and drank alcohol. And the rehab people told him, well, he's not in recovery. It's no good. You can't let him home. Obviously, the fact that the guy brought this up to me indicated that he was saying, is that really true? And my brief answer to him was, some people can deal with all kinds of drugs. Some people can deal with heroin. And some people who can not deal with heroin can deal with marijuana and alcohol. And you and I know that's called harm reduction. When people switch from heroin to marijuana, some people that works better for. And I said, this is another example of things that you and I always emphasize, and we've been talking about them this time. If you allow him home, you have to insist on certain standards around the house. He has to go to work or go to school or whatever's on his menu, and he can't disturb your home. And those are your criteria. You're going to have to obviously, if you just spent $125,000 in Florida and he's caused you some family problems, he's going to understand that he's a little bit under the gun. And so, the end of the story was, when I came back to replace my other baby tooth, the guy said to me, your input saved my family. And so when I got home, I wrote him a letter and I said, $7,500 to replace a tooth after I saved your family. He actually wrote me a whole letter. And the letter he wrote was, Stanton, I'm not used to paying people for professional services when they're sitting in my dentist chair for a half an hour. However, you may not be aware, but dental implants are very expensive, and I gave you a professional discount. So, you saved a couple $100, and I'm going to do the same thing for this baby tooth. And then I brought Anna in because she had her wisdom tooth pulled, and his assistant said, oh, the doctor's giving you a professional discount. So at that point, I figured, we're okay.